Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibhiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Bhurida Jana. The nectar of thy words revives the scarred spirit of human beings. They purify the sinner and are the life of the holy. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. Om. Welcome to the Friday scripture class. And as announced, today's scripture is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. You might have noticed that background is different than we usually have because I am not in Toronto. This class is being conducted from the Vedanta Society of Houston, Greater Houston in Texas. It is very warm here, wonderful weather, great hospitality of Swami and the devotees. It's a wonderful feeling coming here. If time permits, I'd like to show the shrine, this beautiful shrine that is here at the end of the class. Let me see. Let us begin the class. Now, the chapter is The Master and His Injured Arm, and page is 397. The paragraph that begins on that page. Uh, so, Master was saying about the ephemerality of the human body, how it is there for only for a short time and it goes away. It is just temporary thing, and what remains is only the Atman. Atman alone abides. And with that conversation, Sri Ramakrishna comes to say, when the body is there, some desires are natural to with the body. And if desires are not there, a body surviving will be difficult. So let us see what is continuing in this page 397, the paragraph beginning on that page. Without desires, Master is saying, without desires, the body cannot live. Smiling. I had one or two desires. I prayed to the mother, "O mother, give me the company of those who have renounced woman and gold." I said further, "I should like to enjoy the society of thy jnanis and bhaktas. So give me a little strength that I may walk hither and thither and visit those people." But she did not give me the strength to walk. So Sri Ramakrishna wanted to walk from place to place, but body was so frail, so weak, so sattvic that he had to take carriage. That he often said how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked through the streets of the Nadi of the city and spread thy name. And you have given me such a weak body that it cannot even walk. And it is dependent on having carriers to go from one place to another. And but what he said, give me the company of all renouncing people, the monks, and also thy jnanis and bhaktas. So all those devotees of God, the knowers of God, those companies Sri Ramakrishna wanted. And the mother fulfilled that wish, because in there so many devotees came who were very highly sattvic devotees, whom Sri Ramakrishna said Ishvara Kotis, Narendranath and Rakhal and Babu Ram and Mahapurush Maharaj. All those were such great person. All the direct disciples are all they were Gyanis and Bhaktas from their very birth. So in disciplined life they had. Also there came many monks on their way to Ganga Sagar or on their way from Ganga Sagar, and used to stay at Dakshineswar, and Sri Ramakrishna used to meet them whenever happened, and whenever other people also other places whenever he went, he met some people who are all renouncing monks. That's why he said, those who have renounced um, woman and gold, give me that, give me the company of those. Holy, the Divine Mother answered that his prayer. But what about give me so much strength that I may walk from hither to thither? But smiling, he says, but Divine Mother did not listen to my that prayer. and I have to depend on that. So it's just he was saying that all desires are not fulfilled. So even the desire of incarnation of gods are not fulfilled. So what to say of our desires? So when we say some desires are not fulfilled, we should not complain against God. Ours to pray to God. It is up to God whether to grant that prayer or not. If He grants prayer, that is fine. If He doesn't grant prayer, that is also, we have to accept that God doesn't want this to be answered, to come into our life. So that way, we should find, even if our prayers are not answered, we should find peace with God and no complaint against God, and if possible, no complaint against any person in life. The more we are away from complaints, the more peaceful and happy we are. We all want peace and happiness, but we don't practice these simple things, that what makes our mind agitated, what makes us worried. What makes us worried is always finding defects in others, having too many desires, and if not fulfilled, worrying for that. So if some desires or prayers are not fulfilled, then also it's fine. God has different thought for us, and not to find fault with other human beings. Most of our worries and anxieties come from finding defects in others. So that person is bad, that saying is bad, and you start like from certain type of not liking, then disliking, then hatred, all that, then envy, like those gradation of disliking the people. Equally, that makes the gradation of mm, our life of suffering, miseries, worries, and that's how not finding peace. That's why Holy Mother said, if you want peace of mind, don't find fault with others. So but Holy Mother knows we are all trying to find fault. So if you want to find fault, find with your own self. You have so many faults. When we are aware of faults, then only we can get rid of them in ourselves. So that is what Holy Mother is saying is. So this year also Sri Ramakrishna says, whenever some desires are not fulfilled by the Divine Mother, fine, doesn't matter. Mother didn't wish. There must be something good in not fulfilling that desire. Maybe my desire would have led to some other greater difficulty. With that way, we can accept our desires, our prayers not being fulfilled. So let us go further. Trailokya was there. Trailokya says, smiling. Have all the desires been fulfilled? Master smiling. No, there are still a few left. All laugh. The body is really impermanent. When my arm was broken, I said to the mother, Mother, it hurts me very much. At once, she revealed to me a carriage and its driver. Here and there, a few screws were loose. The carriage moved as the driver directed it. It had no power of its own. So, considering the body as our own, or we, that is not right. Holy Mother, Divine Mother, revealed to Sri Ramakrishna, and Divine Mother said, "You are the driver. You are the one who run this carriage. Carriage might have some screws loose, but you are not the carriage. So, defect in the carriage is not your defect. Or problem of carriage is not your problem. Try to stay on your true nature, which is beyond any disease, any defect. So then you can stay well at all the time. Suppose we are very sick, and in the sickness there is so much of pain. How to get rid of this pain? Even after having all the medicines, pain can linger. Body is so much frail, and pain is so much. So that time, only way to get strength and get rid of the pain is only to assert our nature of the Atman, our true nature, that we are not the body. If we have not practiced not find identity with the body when we are healthy and youthful, at the old age it is very difficult to disidentify with the body. And whatever body's condition is, that we think our condition. Body is in pain, body is in disease, body is going to die, and we think, I'm in pain, I have disease, I'm going to die. And suffering, there's no end of suffering, which is based on all a falsehood, all ignorance. So to get rid of that, we have to try now itself, when you are youthful and healthy, to disengage or disidentify from the body and trying to assert our Atman nature. I am the Atman, I am not this body, which may be an instrument to help me to grow towards God, to help me to work for the service of others. Let this instrument be utilized for the service of others, for the good of others, but not for hurting others. In hurting others, in envying others, we hurt more ourselves. So there are means, only we have to practice that. Otherwise, we will suffer because of our own mistake. Uh, why then do I take care of the body? It is to enjoy God, to sing His name and glories, and to go about visiting His jnanis and bhaktas. So that is Sri Ramakrishna, the most compassionate and most loving incarnation of God. So he says just to spread thy name far and wide. They are the real givers, as the Gopi Gita in the Mangalacharan that we chant before the class of gospel. In that it is said, they are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. So Sri Ramakrishna says, why do I want to live long? Why do I want this body to be fit? Why is this, that desire in me? So that is to sing his glories and to take his name. That itself is the purpose of life. The purpose of life is to be with God. When we are away from God, then we invite all the troubles of life. When we are with God, all the miseries and troubles are sealed outside. So to be with God is the purpose of life, and he says that. And Sri Ramakrishna says another purpose of this body, to visit the bhaktas and jnanis. So your devotees practically. And he used to, many sadhus you will find they are at one place sitting and the devotees come and they talk. But Sri Ramakrishna was so different, his case. Many came here, but Sri Ramakrishna himself used to run to the house of devotees. So many devotees Sri Ramakrishna went, Balaram Basu, to Yam's house, to so many Marwadi devotee, to Girish Ghosh, and so many devotees he would go now and then. God Himself visiting the devotees. In the Gospel itself, there is the story of how Sri Ramakrishna went to the house of Brahmani, which is Golapma. Golapma, how happy she was when Sri Ramakrishna visited. You read that incident in the Gospel itself. So that much joy Sri Ramakrishna used to give. Other he came one day to Sri Ramakrishna and said, "You have not been to my house for a long time, and I find smelly fish smells fishy." So fish smell, as it were, means lot of materialistic thing is there. The Sri Ramakrishna's visit would not only bring the spiritual all awareness or spiritual talk, but there is to be so much of joy by his visiting, real joy in the hearts of everyone. So Sri Ramakrishna was so kind, so frail body, difficult to walk, but still he will go from house to house. And sometimes you read in the Gospel itself how he went to one person's house and already evening. Then he goes to another person's house. Already then from that to another person's house. When he comes back to Dakshineswar, it is almost 11 o'clock, 11:30 like that. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's kindness and compassion for the devotees. And that's what he said to the Divine Mother. I wish to visit devotees. That's why I want body to be little fit. That is the purpose of body that Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning. Narendra was sitting on the floor in front of the master. Master to Trilokya and the other devotees. The joys and sorrows of the body are inevitable. Look at Narendra. His father is dead, and his people have been put to extreme suffering. He can't find any way out of it. God places one sometimes in happiness and sometimes in misery. Now you see how Sri Ramakrishna is teaching Narendra to accept the situations as they come in life. He is incarnation of God. He is the devotee of the Divine Mother. He has the power to change the situation, but he will not choose to do that. See, Narendra is going through difficult times, so much difficult that there was no food left at house even to feed the his brothers and sisters and mother. He couldn't get a job, though he was one of the few, very few educated people, highly educated people of his time. No job was there. One job was there that also he was fired from that job. So like that was the situation, and Sri Ramakrishna felt it very much. So he had so much of feeling for Narendra, and he could feel his suffering. He has no food to eat, and so much of poverty, and he cannot feed his own brothers and sisters and his mother, and he is the elder brother. So whatever Narendra told, Sri Ramakrishna could feel. Yet he has to learn that. He said he has to learn, sometimes good, sometimes bad. That is how the life goes. In Hindi, often they say, "Aisa din nahi rahega." Remember always, such day will not be there always. There will be changes, ups and downs in life. What to say of the health, situation, wealth, relationship, all they are ever changing. So sometimes you feel, oh, he's my great good friend, and they will listen to whatever I need. If I need something, you ask some help, and that friend says, I'm sorry, I have nothing, I cannot help you that way, I cannot lend you something. So that thing you have to accept as the part of the world, and not to have the bad relationship. So like that is the world. All depends on God's will, that how what we get, and nothing to be sad. Sometimes you see our very close friends, they betray in our business. Sometimes misunderstanding is there with our own closest friends and closest people. But instead of getting so much sad, and why it happened, and what did I do wrong, and my friend is so bad, he misunderstands all my friendship and sacrifice all he has forgotten for so long. Instead of saying that, we should say, oh, those are the parts of life. In life that happens, this type of thing happens. If he has misunderstood me now, he will understand me in time when God wills. So all God places us through difficult times, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So we should be able to accept the situations, relationship, and all the things, different things that come in life. So that is what the message of wisdom, when we can accept the thing of the world as it is. The thing in the world is not permanent at all. Aisa din nahi rahega. Aisa din nahi rahega, the day will not be like this always. So that comes when we are good times or bad times. When good times, ऐसा दिन नहीं रहेगा, bad times will come. When bad times also, ऐसा दिन नहीं रहेगा, good times will come. So like that the things will change. So if we know about the change, then hope comes. And when in good times, when the good days are very nice and going well, then there is no arrogance comes. This is all for the time being. We are aware of the temporariness of the situations of the world. It will change. So we should be prayerful and thankful to God for giving this. That's how we can make our life more, live our life wisely and more peacefully amidst the changing situations. We can handle the situations that way. Trilokya. Revered sir, God will be gracious to Narendra. You see how wonderfully he said Sri Ramakrishna's thing. God will be gracious to Narendra. So that is aisa din nahi rahega. For Narendra also, he's in so much of suffering. The days will change. He will have good days. Comfortable days are ahead. So this Trilokya, so wise person, revered sir, God will be gracious to Narendra. One is that he's saying the words of wisdom, no doubt that things will change. But another is because Narendra's situation had also felt little. Sri Ramakrishna was also a little worried for Narendra because he is his foremost disciple, and Sri Ramakrishna is to be worried in the sense he used to take the notice of difficulty of everyone, every person whoever came to him with all the problems of life. That will have so much sympathy and so much empathy actually had. So Sri Ramakrishna had great empathy for Narendranath. So Trailokya is consoling not only Narendra, but he is, as it were, consoling Sri Ramakrishna himself, and says that Sri Ramakrishna will be pleased to hear this, though he said the words of wisdom and truth. But it was to soothe not only Narendranath, but also to Sri Ramakrishna. Those days will not be there like that. The God will be gracious to Narendra. Now, Master with a smile. But when? It is true that no one starves at the temple of Annapurna in Benares, but some must wait for food till evening. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's counter argument that it should come. He has been suffering a lot for many days. So he gives the example what is commonly said in Annapurna. In Annapurna and Vishwanath, these are two main deities in Benares. Annapurna is very close to Vishwanath temple. And in Annapurna temple, the people are fed. That's the thing. We know about the langar of how in Sikh gurudwaras how they make the langar and they feed the great thing. Hindu temple we don't know much, but there are these hidden things. There in Annapurna temple also all people are fed, but some are fed late because the lineup is there. So that's what Sri Ramakrishna gives the example. No one is and goes without eating in from the temple of Annapurna. You may have to wait a little longer, but you will be fed. भगवान के घर में अंधेरा भगवान के घर में देरी है but देर है but अंधेर नहीं है. There is a in God's house there might be late, but no darkness, that no negativity is there. And that's what the proverb in Hindi says. भगवान के घर में देर है लेकिन अंधेर नहीं है. So that's how he gives the example and says, but how long Narendra had to suffer. Very nice, as any person in the world will feel, any friend, any well wisher will wish for the person whom he wishes well. Uh, Once Hridaya asked Shambhu Malik, says Sri Ramakrishna, once Hridaya asked Shambhu Malik for some money. Shambhu held the views of Englishmen on such matters. He said to Hridaya, why should I give you money? You can earn your livelihood by working. Even now, you are earning something. The case of a very poor person is different. The purpose of charity is fulfilled if one gives money to the blind or the lame. Thereupon Hridaya said, sir, please don't say that. I don't need your money. May God help me not to become blind or deaf or extremely poor. I don't want you to give. I don't want to receive. So he is like that. He is saying, Hridaya is saying. So Sri Ramakrishna said, he held the view of Englishmen. So whom to give and whom to not give. There should be calculation. There should be a reason to give. Of course, in the Gita it is said, before giving it should be to the proper person at proper time and with proper attitude you should donate. But there is another thing called giving whenever you want to give. Like Narendranath's father, Swami Vivekananda's father, is to give to the people whenever they asked without thinking how they are going to spend or what is their need. They are in need, it seems. So he was very generous, very generous. So when you calculate before donating, before giving, Sri Ramakrishna, it is Englishman's views. So, like the educated people, they are more, they're doing often, people say, whenever some people ask for food on the crossroad or on the highways on the side, on the not highways, on the roads on the side, and people say hungry from the morning, and some will say no, I don't give money to them. What they drink or smoke, I don't know. Some say he's asking, give some money. You are giving 50 cents or $1. What does it matter? So he perhaps he's hungry. You are doubting without reason, without knowing whether he's really hungry or he wants to use that in something that is an essential thing. But without knowing, how you decide not to give because of just your thought that he may be. So this thinking thing is Sri Ramakrishna's language, Englishman's ways. And that's why Shambhu just counteracted, and he didn't give any money to Hridaya. Not that Sri Ramakrishna encourages to give anywhere like that, as he won't like that Hridaya should ask money from any rich person for his to meet his things. But still, before giving, you become too much calculative. And I say that only to be given to blind or deaf or lame who can earn, work and earn, to them only I give. Sometimes they make so much fun of the monks and people of this calculating people. When monks, as monks, we go to beg food during our monastic life. That when you become monk first, and when you go young person, young brahmachari, just become monk that day, and goes to the door and asks. Some are very happy that new monk has come, and they so wholeheartedly give them whatever they had, some food left. But some are there. Why did you become monk? You could work and earn money. Why you have to ask for this? It is very shame on you to not to work and earn money instead of begging. So like that, some people are always that way. They only see begging is mm, is because of shirking your work. It is not that. Monastic ideal is so high that you don't work for earning money or for eating food. You work for service, as a service to God, for the good of others and the society. Whatever society gives, that you are satisfied with. You don't want anything more than that. So this type of ideal, the monastic ideal is. They don't realize that. They don't realize the glory of monastic ideal. Sri Ramakrishna says, I want the company of those who have renounced woman and gold. So all the monastics. So it gives so much joy to find a person who fully relies on God. And the society finds it as a holy work to feed such persons who have given up their life for the sake of God. So that type of thing, people often don't understand, those who calculate too much. As you know, in the story of Swami Vivekananda also, Swami Vivekananda was traveling in the train, and one person was eating food, and he was of the view that monks are not good people. Monks don't work, and they're dependent on only householders. So he said, I work and I earn and I eat. So you don't work and you are not getting. Swamiji was very hungry, and but he didn't say anything, and he was saying words after word, sentence after sentence, teaching Swami Vivekananda and denigrating the monasticism. And Swamiji was such a personality, but he just kept quiet and said nothing. Then at the station, when they get down, the person also get down on that station. Swamiji also get down that station. And there one person comes with food and said, Swamiji, this is for you. Swamiji said, I don't know you. This is first time I'm coming to this station. No, no, you are the person for whom I have brought. How do you know I'm that person? Oh, my Ramji, my God, my Ishta told that one, my devotee is coming, and he is a monk and he's hungry. Please feed him. So I cooked early in the morning, and I'm here to you. And he has shown me who is coming, to whom to feed. So seeing this, that Marwadi also, now his heart was changed, and he also fell at the feet of Swami Vivekananda. So like that thing, stories happen. Those who are too much calculative, they always think giving, whether it will be okay or not, like that thing will come. So those who are good, they try to help others. That's what Swami Sri Ramakrishna was saying. The master spoke as if piqued because God had not yet shown his kindness to Narendra. Now and then he cast an affectionate glance at his beloved disciple. Swamiji, as if piqued with Thakur was really worried for Narendra, because Narendra was going through a lot of turmoil. And Sri Ramakrishna, for him to get worried for Narendra is quite normal, because he knew Narendra is that great rishi who has come to do good to the world. And such a person suffering because of in some situations in life that should not have come to such a pure soul. Like it is not even the karma phala. Narendranath has no karma. He is a rishi who is already liberated, and he has come only for service to the world. to give them the knowledge, to lift the humanity. For that, the person has come as a human being, that Rishi has come, and that human being is suffering in the world without any having any bad karma. So Sri Ramakrishna was really worried for Narendra, so he gets immediately. Once Narendra asked something, and Sri Ramakrishna asked someone, "Can you give Narendra a job? Look for a job for Narendra." And Narendra heard that. And when they left, Narendra came and said to Sri Ramakrishna, "Why you have to beg some such thing for from others, those people, for me, for my sake? So what will they do? You don't have to go so, you don't have to be so humiliated for my sake." He said, "Naren, you don't know how much I love you. For your sake, I can go from door to door and beg for you. So much I love you. What to say of the people, devotees who came here and to find if they can get a job for you." So like that is Swami Sri Ramakrishna's love for Narendranath, which is so deep. Even Narendranath, actually, he felt it later on, and he describes Sri Ramakrishna as Love. But at that time, no doubt, it is more of Narendranath loving Sri Ramakrishna. And he said, "I come here because I love you." That was Sri Ramakrishna, isn't it? You remember, I think, and that Sri Ramakrishna, so much he gave attention to Narendranath. Whenever he came, whatever he was talking, he stopped that and they started talking on Narendranath. Some people said, "We also have come. Why all focus on him?" And then Sri Ramakrishna was that, and that type of giving attention and care to Narendranath. Sri Ramakrishna once decided not to pay any attention to Narendranath. But Narendranath, he came. And this taste about Narendranath's love for Sri Ramakrishna lasted not one day or 5 day or 1 week. For 1 month, he didn't speak or pay attention to Sri Ramakrishna, to Narendranath. Sri Ramakrishna didn't pay attention. He was talking with everyone, and Narendranath came and sat there. And sometimes he just turned away, his face turned away from Narendranath. So much of uh, neglect, as if Sri Ramakrishna did to Narendranath. But Narendranath was coming to visit Sri Ramakrishna. So much of attention given, no attention at all. We talk of Sukadeva, when Sukadeva came to Janaka's kingdom to learn, to visit Janaka and learn from him. At the gate of the kingdom of Janaka, the doorkeepers, the gatekeepers, they didn't pay any attention, and no attention was given to him. No care was given. Shukadeva just stayed at the gate, neglected and uncared. But after one full day of uncare living there, next day they came with all pomp and grandeur and show, and with all honor, with all military and all that, to escort Shukadeva from the door of a gate of the kingdom to the palace. And all was being tasted, and the Shukadeva's face did not change when he was neglected, or when he was honored so much. He was same in neglect and honor. Amanina manadena, or like that. That is what in the Gita also it is said, in honor and dishonor alike. Sama shatrau cha mitre cha tatha mana apamanayo. Same in mana and apmana, honor and dishonor, same. So in Sri Krishna says the essence, and here is Shukadeva, where it is exemplified. And here is Narendranath, where also it is exemplified, greater than Shukadeva, in fact. 1 month neglecting. Can you imagine? He still came. After 1 month, Sri Ramakrishna turned to him and said, "I don't even talk to you, but you still come. How come that? How is that?" And Narendranath said, "I don't come here to get your attention. I come here because I love you." That was the real love that Narendranath said. He said, "I love you." But that Sri Ramakrishna, how was he loved Narendranath, that he didn't, he knew, but the depth was yet to come. Because I love you, or it is more, because you love me. That was the thing. Sri Ramakrishna's love for Narendranath was not less. than Narendranath's love for Sri Ramakrishna. Perhaps it was more. Must be it was more. God's love for us is always more than our love for God. They say even our love for ourselves is less than our God's love for us. And he was being tested for 1 month. How Sri Ramakrishna tested his disciple, his allegiance, his association, how much he can work in the time when he is not honored, his dishonor. And that's how Narendranath, when he came to the West, when people closed the door, when invited people also were there, invited him for lunch, and somebody said, he said something wrong information to them, to the host. And when Narenath came, they didn't even open the door. They are invited, but no effect on Narendranath. He said, "Okay, God's will doesn't matter." This is the tasting that Sri Ramakrishna had already done. It was tasting and also training to Narendranath, and that made Narendranath a wonderful, ideal person who can become equally. He can treat the honor and dishonor. So here also it is said that way, and it seemed that he speaks for now and then he cast an affectionate glance at his beloved disciple, Narendra. I am now studying the views of the atheists. Hmm, Master, there are two doctrines, the existence and the non existence of God. Why don't you accept the first? Hmm, hmm. That those who are theist and atheist, there are two doctrines. So some people may accept this, some and that. So he's now studying the views of the atheist, those who do not believe in the existence of God. And Sri Ramakrishna, in a simple way, says, if there are two ways, why to accept the other way, the way of the people who don't believe in the existence of God? Why not to believe in the existence of God? One of them is equally valid if you think. So Surendra says, God is just. He must look after his devotees. So everyone is saying to Sri Ramakrishna that Narendra will be taken care of. Only it is a matter of days. Master, it is said in the scriptures that only those who have been charitable in their former births get money in this life. But to tell you the truth, this world is God's Maya. And there are many confusing things in this realm of Maya. One cannot comprehend them. So the saying maybe if you are charitable, you will be helped and you get money in this. So be charitable in this life so that your next life is happier. But Sri Ramakrishna said there might be saying like that, but in the world of Maya, nothing is can be said with just with force or with all the strength that this alone is true. Maya, anything can happen, and he knows that Narendranath's karma cannot be that way because he had no prarabdha. He is not born with karma. He is a rishi, perfect rishi. So it's not that he didn't do anything. He was so greedy that he didn't do any charity in his past life, but he is still suffering. That's why he proves that Maya's thing is always not the way that we explain the Maya. What you did in the past life, this is the karma phala, it has to happen. Maybe the karma phala doesn't happen in the world of Maya. So the one that is said, those who are charitable would get money in this life, or thing when needed they will get. So this is also, it should be seen not to look at the past life and see that if I didn't get anything means I didn't do charity, not for that purpose, but I should be charitable so that my life in the next life should be not difficult life. So it's a good life to earn more of punya, as they say. This is for the people who believe and want the next life, but for those who want mukti, for them no earning and no having more of punya. Doing good is fine. And after doing good, not having any bank balance of good or bank balance of bad, all should be zero. Account should be zero. No be carrying over. Nothing to be carried over for a person who wants mukti. Anything carried over, whether it is negative account, debit account, you will have to get the rebirth and have suffer from that. you didn't earn punya, you earned all the things of some papa in this life. So negative account, you have to come to suffer for those. Also, you have earned lot of punya, and that good credit account is there. For that also you have to come to this world to enjoy the world, to enjoy that punya karma. Still, when you come to the world, it's never only enjoyment. There will be something of suffering also. So why to choose that? Rather make the zero balance of credit and balance zero and get mukti, merge with the divine, be what you are, what with your real nature. No coming, no going, but being the Satchidananda Swarupa. That's what the sadhakas will like to do, not to be reborn again. The ways of God are inscrutable indeed. Bhishma lay on his bed of arrows. The Pandava brothers visited him to Krishna's company. Presently, Bhishma burst into tears. The Pandavas said to Krishna, Krishna, how amazing this is! Our grandsire Bhishma is one of the 8 Vasus. Another man as wise as he is not to be found. Yet, even he is bewildered by Maya and weeps at death. But, said Krishna, Bhishma isn't weeping on that account. You may ask him about it. When asked, Bhishma said, O Krishna, I am unable to understand anything of the ways of God. God Himself is the constant companion of the Pandavas, and still they have no end of trouble. That is why I weep. When I reflect on this, I realize that one cannot understand anything of God's ways. So, Sakali Tomar Icha, everything is your wish, and you are incomprehensible. There is no real law. If you do this, this will happen. Depends on God's will, how He wants to grant you. Swami Vivekananda's one beautiful poem is there, The Cup. And he says, the cups are given to us. One has to suffer. Cup was like that. All I said, God says, I made these thorns and these stones, they will prick your feet, and other person will walk on a smooth surface. That's how I have made. What is the reason? Was it you had bad karma, you had good karma? Forget about that. I wish that way. I want to have different expressions. We all are my own people, my own being in different forms. So don't bring karma here. It is all the pure will of God. So Swamiji, that poem is very nice, The Cup. So like that, in the story of that whatever God gives, that will happen. The God's ways are different. That's Bhishma saying, you must have, and sometimes what happens, this great person, by just seeing them, we don't really understand what is the reason that they are behaving that ways. And we, according to our own thought, think that, oh, that must be the reason, and make that to be the thing that person is behaving in that way. So they all thought, oh, father, this grandsire, one of the Ashtavasus, wisest among men, is crying, weeping because of imminent death. So because they had that type of thought that they superimpose that on others. Mostly we do that. We superimpose our own mind and thought upon others. And Krishna asked that to clarify that it was not that case. His thought was so different. And his thoughts, he said, I can't understand the ways of God. Because Bhishma was one of those who knew Sri Krishna to be God incarnate. And when God incarnate is always with the devotees, Pandavas, and there is no end of suffering of the Pandavas. If God being with you doesn't mean that you will have no suffering and you will be always sleeping on the bed of roses. There will be thorns, there will be difficulties, there will be problems. If even if God comes to this world, God Himself comes to this world and He suffers so much. Anityam asukham lokam, says Sri Krishna. imam prapya bhajaswamam. Sri Krishna, didn't he suffer so much? See, his parents were jailed, and he was born in a prison, and he had to fight with all those people, and so many things were said to him. So many things Sri Krishna had to suffer. His own dear disciple goes to war, and his all relatives are killed. His Arjuna's son is killed in a very unjustified way. All those didn't give pain to Krishna. Krishna had feeling, no, he had all empathy. So all Krishna had to suffer quietly, knowing that things in the world are incomprehensible, and Krishna himself is there. And what happened at the end when his own clan started fighting with each other, killing each other? Krishna just looked at that. He didn't want to stop the things that happened. Just he was witness to the things of the world in the world of the Maya. So that is how even God cannot really change the thing. He doesn't want to change the thing of the world. Maya's things should go like that. Something he saved, not that he didn't save always. How he saved Arjuna from imminent, he's going to fire, he went burning fire because he couldn't kill Jayadratha that day, and already sun was setting, and suddenly he was ready to go to the fire, burning fire, and suddenly sun came up, and the day was there. It was not ended. All had come to see, and Krishna said, "Now Jayadratha is here. Kill him." So he killed Jayadratha. And what had happened? How did the evening came and then again the sun came? So because Krishna had hidden that sun with his Sudarsana Chakra, or God's will. Like that, he helped sometimes, but not always. So suffering was there for all the people, all the devotees of him. And that's why Bhishma says, even God is there. God is supposed to take away all our suffering, all our miseries. Like he's called Hari. Hari is one who does Harana. Harana of what? Who takes away of what? Of all suffering. But not that. God gives suffering also. Like that story of the person, the lady, old lady, old widow, who had a cow and had nothing with herself, and she Krishna came to her and she fed him, and he asked the widow, "Mother, what do you have?" She said, "I have nothing, Krishna. Everything is gone. Nothing I have only one cow. That is only my possession. Nothing else I have." And Krishna said, "Mother, I'm very happy with your service and your devotion, and I bless you. May that your cow die. Only thing, may they die." That was the blessing of Sri Krishna on the pleasure of the great service that that lady gave. Now, it seems so cruel blessing. How that only one position she used to have little milk out of that, and that also she said made that be stopped. So Arjuna, in fact, asked Krishna, "What type of a blessing is that?" So Krishna said, "You see, and we don't know the meaning." Krishna said, "All her mind is to me. She thinks of me almost with all whole mind, except that her mind has little for taking the care of that cow. So I want her mind to flow to me 100%. It's all about the relationship, wisdom. She may suffer physically not having the milk, but she will be with God always. So that physical suffering is not anything more. It cannot be compared with the spiritual joy that she will have by not forgetting Krishna at all. So that type of thing, Sri Krishna's blessing is there. So this is what it happens. Let's go to the further what it says. Uh, God has revealed to me that only the Paramatman, whom the Vedas describe as the pure soul, is as immutable as Mount Sumeru, unattached and beyond pain and pleasure. There is much confusion in this world of his Maya. One can be so, one can by no means say that this will come after that, or this will produce that. This is the Maya thing we have to understand. I have done so much of Purascharana, and then God will reveal to me nothing is possible. Ours is only to do. Fruit giving is God alone. What He will give, He knows. Karmanne vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. That's what the truth of the thing. And accept all pain and pleasure. Go beyond that. Don't be distracted by those. So that is the message of the Vedanta that Sri Ramakrishna brings, because God's ways are not to be understood. Why God does that? Nothing can be said. There is no logic in the action of God. So if you find logic, our worldly logic in the things in the action of God, you will be baffled. You will not be able to justify, like Rama's killing of a Bali, hiding under a tree. It is seems to be not justified. Hiding under a tree is not the way you kill some other person. But Rama, incarnation God himself, did this. So to say that Rama was wrong, unjustified, is very narrowness of our thought. We don't know the full reason why Rama had to do this, and making Rama's action unjustified is our it's very unjustified for us to think that way, because we do not know the action of God, why he does that, what is the purpose. Nothing is done wrong by the avatara. That's what Sri Ramakrishna says. Nothing will he do is unjustified. So everything is justified. Everything is in the right path. So Rama's doing that. Must be some right. We don't know. Sita is going to forest. Oh, why Rama sent Sita, a pregnant woman, to the forest? So unjustified it seems to us. If we are in Rama's position only, then we can know. Otherwise, we don't know. Ours is the only way to accept the Leela of Avatara. When Rama has done that, that must be some meaning to do that. So only that way we can accept the actions of the Avatara and be at peace and have same reverence for God. Otherwise, even our reverence to God goes less, then we are in trouble. If we don't accept Rama's incarnation, all the beauty and joy and all the things of this Purushottama has done, and find defect in the actions of Rama, so our life will not be that happy. We find even defects in the life of Rama, who is the ideal person, Purushottama, Maryada Purushottama, and you say he has broken their Maryada or the justice there. So there must be some wrong in your understanding. Like that thing, we should understand. Rama can do no wrong. I asked one Swami. Maharaj, people ask that Rama was sending Sita to forest when she was pregnant. It's really, how can we justify that? People ask me what to say. He just bammed, he just thumbed this your table and said, "What?" People ask the action of Avatar is good or right or wrong. They should understand it is Avatar's action. It cannot be wrong. Understanding itself is wrong. When you say there might be something wrong, itself is wrong. So try to feel that maybe Sri Rama did that. I can understand his action because I am foolish. I have no knowledge why he did that. So always side with Avatara, and know in time perhaps I will be enlightened, because I am foolish, I am in darkness. That's why I cannot find the justification in that. So we should not seek justification in the action of Avatara. Otherwise, it will be always like that. Now, another thing, Sri Krishna's doing that Govardhan on this little finger. There was worship going on. Indra was getting the thing. Why Sri Krishna had to stop Indra from getting his share of worship? He's also a god with small g, and only worship me and no one else. What is this thing Sri Krishna is doing? Whatever one was getting, tradition was there. So that type also you can say Krishna was not wrong. He was also jealous. He was also very selfish. Only he wants his own worship, and no other deity to be worshipped. Like that we may think, but we don't understand that if you worship some little god is small g, with some intention that and fear that God Indra will give us rain in time, with that worship we worship, so it doesn't become real worship of God for his love's sake. It is then it becomes like a business. I give you something and you give me something. I worship you and you give me rains. Like that it becomes. So to take it away from his people of his brother, he said, "Don't worship Indra anymore. So Indra was very angry, and because his worship was stopped, so he started pouring rains very heavily, so much so rains that all their houses got flooded. And so Krishna took them all to a place, and there he just picked the hill, the Govardhan hill, on his little finger and put it, and under the hill, on the shade of the hill, all villagers they came to protect themselves from the rain. So showing the power of Sri Krishna's divine power of the God's incarnation, and also humbling the arrogance of Indra, whose all power was given by God Himself. So Indra comes and then says, "Oh, I couldn't recognize you, Lord. Please forgive me." Like that, things sometimes happen, but God's actions are not always to be understood, to be justified with our little intellect, and to say that He has done not done wrong is a very wrong attitude. Only we can say, "I don't understand right now what is really God did this." When God has done that, when Avatara has done that, there must be justification in that. So that way, we hold on to truth, and we don't lessen the respect for avatars of God. God's all avatars are to be respected with all their actions. So let's go further. Surendra smiling. If by giving away money in a previous birth one gets wealth at this life, in this life, then we should all give away money now, Master. Those who have money should give it to the poor and needy, to Trailokya. Jayagopal Sen is well to do. He should be charitable. That he is not so is to his discredit. There are some who are miserly even though they have money. There is no knowing who will enjoy their money afterwards. So that type of thing Sri Ramakrishna is saying. Do you remember how this being charitable is for the good of the person himself? As the saying says, you will get wealth in the next life or not. But charity gives so much joy. You feel connected to the people. You do something to others when you have money. If you do not do charity, even though you have money, you will be miserable. That was the case with Rockefeller in the US. And he was not happy after having so much money and so much of honor as the richest person in the world at the time. And he comes to Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji, without lifting his head, says to him, whatever you have, be a trustee and use your money as for the benefit of others. So he went in a buff as if he didn't want any advice from anyone how he should handle his own wealth. And he thought, and then he started becoming charitable. And he came to Swami Vivekananda and said, Swami, now you should thank me. So Swamiji said, no, no, I should not thank you. You should thank me because I have given you the right path. What makes one happy? The charity, doing good to others. Sri Ramakrishna emphasizing it that those who have money should help others. It is not only for helping those people, those who do not have money or who are hungry or who are needy, but it is for helping the people who have money. Only money gathering and making arrogance and making bank balance for nothing. Then Sri Ramakrishna says two things. One is you will be worried, money will not be utilized. And after you die, what will happen to the money that you earned? At least you can utilize in a good cause now by yourself. And that's why those who have money should donate, should be charitable, says Sri Ramakrishna. And Holy Mother used to say, Jar ache mapo, jar nei jopo. We all should uh, have compassion and empathy for others. Those who have means to support others, to help others, they should give measure. Measure means earlier time they used to give food, they do grains by measuring in the measuring some cup or measuring basket. So measure and give mapo. And those who do not have enough to share their produce, so what they do, japo, pray for them, but be connected to the people who are suffering. So Now today you see so many of the humanity is suffering because of conflict in the Middle East. So we should pray for the people who are suffering. So that makes us closer to the humanity and gives us peace. Otherwise, if you all see the stories of so much of horror there going on, people being so cruel, worse than the beast human being. After all, we all share the same thing. They're also human being, but human being can degrade to that level, so that shakes us. How can we be so low? But for that we have to pray for the people. May there be wise intellect should be developed, purity of heart should develop. May there be no conflict among the people of the world. May they try to feel that we are all brothers and sisters, the brotherhood of the whole universal brotherhood. We should pray for that. That's what jar nei say jopo. That makes us our mind pure. And maybe if our prayer is sincere, it may affect some person who was cruel or who was a bad, beastly person. His heart may change, or our heart. There is innate goodness in everyone, but anger and hatred that is developed through the situations in the mind that creates all this very nonsensical thing in the world. And ours here is to pray for the people who are suffering, pray for those who suffered and died, and may they find salvation in after going dying there, and may people who are injured be cured soon. Those who are very cruel, may their heart be changed and they be friendly to the people, and may they be able to feel that they are um, all brothers. All human beings, men and women, are our brothers, not only to people belonging to our community or our religion or our country, but whole humanity is our brother and sister. May that thought come to them, dawn to them. Our sincere prayer may help. That is the chance. Prayers are answered if it is sincere, says Sri Ramakrishna. Thank you very much. So please hold for a few minutes. I want to take you to show the Houston's Vedanta Society's or shrine. So beautiful shrine in the temple that was inaugurated by Swami Swahanandaji about 12 or 13 years ago. So just I want to show you. Just 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. One second. I want to show to Toronto people our shrine here. So beautiful shrine. Yes. You see the shrine. Please bow down to Thakurma, Swamiji, Buddha, and Jesus. Yes, here is Jesus, here is Buddha. And with these words, now with the closing chants, I want to close today's class. So let me do the closing chants. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishnaarpanamastu. Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnan Jagadgurum Padme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. See you next Friday in person at Vedanta Society of Toronto. Good night. Yes. Yes.